Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us for today's vegan cooking class. My name is Tony Brown, and I'm bringing you some pineapple and black bean fajitas with the side of Mexican rice. The fajitas come from womensday.com. I'll post the link here in the video. Something that I've been doing for over a year now, and I love it, and I think you'll love it too. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to work on is the Mexican rice, since it takes a little bit longer to cook than the fajitas. But go ahead and preheat your oven to 425. These fajitas can also be done on the grill, and the recipe says to preheat your grill to medium-high heat. But I'm doing them in the oven today, so I'm preheating my oven to 425. I'm also going to go ahead and turn on my eye to about medium heat for my saucepan here for my rice to be cooked in, okay? So I'm going to take about a tablespoon of vegan butter and melt that in my saucepan. And just as a refresher, this is the vegan butter that I use, Mayocco's, and they have salted and unsalted. I'm doing unsalted today. Now that my butter is melted, I'm going to pour in 1 cup of long grain rice and cook that for about 1 to 2 minutes. Stir the rice so that you can get the melted butter on each grain, okay? Keep stirring that for 1 to 2 minutes. All right, after 1 to 2 minutes, you will see that some of your pieces of rice have started to brown. I'm going to add 2½ cups of plain water. You can also do chicken broth if you're not vegan, or just you know, vegetable broth, but I am doing just plain water here. Also adding in ½ cup of tomato sauce. And then I'm adding in about ½ cup of small diced green pepper and 1 shallot, a small shallot. And then I have 2 cloves of garlic. And then I have some ground cumin. I use this a lot, so I bought it in bulk at the World Direct Market in Atlanta. So add about a teaspoon of that. And then I'm gonna add in some of this soup and seasoning mix. Kind of tastes like chicken. Get that open here. teaspoon of that. And then I'm just going to throw in some parsley, probably a couple of teaspoons of that. You can also do it fresh if you have fresh on hand. I didn't have any fresh today, so I'm just using the dried. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of garlic powder. That's just seasoned according to your taste. A little bit of smoked paprika. Tiny bit of salt, but not too much because that soup and seasoning mix has salt in it as well. And then also a little bit of onion powder. Give that all a stir. Cover this and let it cook until all of the water boils out and my rice is nice and fluffy. All right, I'm also making a cilantro lime dressing to drizzle over my fajitas. I'll go ahead and show you that as well. So you're going to need to have some vegan dressing and spread. I use Hellmann's. You need about 3 tablespoons of that. I'm going to put it in my little processor cup here. And then the juice of half of a lime. And then about half of a cup of some fresh cilantro. Take most of the stem off there and throw it directly into the cup. About half of a cup there. And then I also need about a tablespoon of some agave nectar. And about 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And you can measure out as you need to. I just have been cooking so long that I kind of know what the measurements are by looking at them. And then about 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm going to pulse all of that in the food processor here. I can get it on. It's pretty noisy, so I'm going to turn it off while I'm doing that and then show you what it looks like when it's done pulsing. All right, so this is what it looks like when it's done. Very yummy. If you need to double or triple the recipe, you can if you're feeding a crowd, but it's just me and my husband, so this will be plenty for us to drizzle over our fajitas, okay? And now it is time to move on to the pineapple and black bean fajitas. Again, this is a recipe that I have been using over a year now from womensday.com, and you can look for it under best pineapple and black bean fajitas recipe. So it says that you will need about 2 cups, or if you want to use cans, a 15-ounce can of black beans rinsed, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped chipotles in adobo, 1/4 small pineapple cored and cut into thin 1/2 inch pieces, 2 small red bell peppers sliced, 1 small red onion thinly sliced, and then the recipe doesn't call for this, but I like to also put in about 5 green onions, and I just chop them up, okay? So the first thing we need to do is take a tablespoon of the chipotles and adobo and finely chop them. This is the brand that I use. And I'm just gonna, sometimes they'll come out whole, sometimes they do not. So we need about 1 tablespoon of finely chopped adobos. Chipotle and adobo. I'm just gonna finely chop that up, and it does get a little bit messy. If you want to use some gloves, you can go ahead and put some gloves on. Chop those up, and then you're gonna mix it in with the black beans. In with the black beans. And then give them a stir. Alright, now the recipe says that you need to tear off 4 12-inch squares of foil and arrange on 2 baking sheets, but it works just as well if you tear off 1 long piece and you layer everything in that. So you're going to put down first the black beans. And just kind of spread them out like that, right down the middle. And then next, you're going to put your pineapple, peppers, and onion. And some peppers. And then your red onion and green onion. I'm going to take another piece of foil, put that on top, and crimp the ends all the way around so that you make a pocket. Okay, got my nice pocket here, and we want to roast it in the oven, or if you're doing it on the grill, for 15 minutes covered, okay? My Mexican rice is done. See how nice and fluffy that is? Smells really good. I can smell all the flavors. I have a few more minutes on the fajitas, and then I will plate it all up. All right, fajitas are done. You can either take some kitchen shears or some scissors, and be very careful and cut your packet open. Watch out for all that steam. Very hot. Looks so good. And I like to just give everything a little toss before I put it in my tortillas. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Cannot wait to eat this. I'm so hungry. I'm going to scoop this to the side and plate everything up. Let me go ahead and get some of that rice. Some of that Mexican rice on the side. And then I will do one tortilla here. I have some wheat tortillas. And I'm just going to put some of the fajita filling in. Those good old pineapples. Some black beans. And then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of that dressing that I made earlier. Yum. And then just because I love cilantro, I'm going to also put a little bit more of that on top. I love cilantro. And there you have it. Pineapple and black bean fajitas with a cilantro lime dressing and some Mexican rice. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please try it and let me know what you think. Bon appetit!